What's up and welcome back to another episode of Next Door Conversations with me, Amara. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Temi Ajibade's Easy Life. I hope you guys appreciated that pun, guys. I really took some time to think about that one. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about classism and the current state of class consciousness amongst Nigerian Gen Zs. Today, we're going to be talking about that on this episode. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Amara and this is Next Door Conversations, my podcast where I talk about trending news, viral content, what's happening on social media and in the world at large. If you like what you're listening to, make sure that you're following the podcast, ring the notification bell so every time I drop an episode, you get a notification. And also don't forget to share this episode with a friend because I'm sure there's someone in your circle of friends that's interested in topics such as these. And don't forget to give this podcast a 5-star rating, guys. This is a 5-star podcast, so please give me 5 stars. And without too much yapping, let's get straight into the episode. So, y'all, I am in my emo era. Yes, I decided to look very emo, very black on black for this episode because I'm trying to figure out what my style is. And I'm really enjoying seeing the variety of looks I'm able to pull off on this podcast. So yeah, please, it's not weird. I've not joined cult. I'm just doing this for the sake of fashion. Anyway, let's get into the episode. So we're going to start off with who Temi Otedola is. And I'm sure there are some Nigerians that are listening to this that are just rolling their eyes like, we know who Temi Otedola is. Guys, I have listeners from Vietnam. I have listeners from Brazil. I have listeners from around the world. So let me tell you, I want to give them the whole rundown. I want them to have a frame of reference so they know who we are talking about on this podcast. Anyway, Temi Otedola is the third and youngest child of Nigerian billionaire Femi Otedola. Femi Otedola is a big deal in Nigeria. Femi Otedola is probably as big a deal in Nigeria as the president himself. Okay, he wrote a book sometime last year that's gained a lot of popularity. He was in the news for that. I don't really want to talk about that because honestly, if we go there, it will be a very long episode. Femi had Temi, his daughter, who is an actress, a social media influencer, a fashion blogger, and of course, a podcast host. Yes, she hosts a podcast called How Far with her partner, Oluwatosin Ajibade, popularly known as Mr. Easy. That is why I started off this podcast with saying Temi Ajibade's Easy Life. I'm glad we all understand now. Temi Otedola has been beloved on social media. When I say beloved, I mean she has been fawned over. People love her. They love to aspire to be her. It's almost to the point of idolatry. People idolize this babe, guys. They aspire to be her. She has definitely had a huge influence on the Nigerian fashion scene. So far, she has managed to have a really pristine image on social media up until recently. And with increasing class consciousness, netizens have begun to turn on her. Sometime last year, Temi Otedola, Temi Ajibade, I'm just going to refer to her as Temi Otedola for the sake of this podcast, even though she is now referring to herself as Temi Ajibade. I just feel like Temi Ajibade is a name that's I'm not quite familiar with. I'm like, who is this babe? I know Temi Otedola, I beg, so I'm going to refer to her as Temi Otedola. Now, sometime last year, Temi Otedola had an intercontinental wedding. It was a big deal. It was covered by American Vogue. It was all over the US press. Like, it was a huge global deal. And when I say an intercontinental wedding, I mean an intercontinental wedding. She had a civil wedding in Monaco, trad in Dubai, and the white wedding in Iceland. Now, as a poor man picking, all these countries sound strange to me. I don't know how she could have such emotional attachments to all these countries around the world, but I guess she does. And she decided she wanted to tie the knot with her man in these countries. And just as an aside, I hate the wedding industrial complex, okay? When did weddings become such huge extravaganza? I hate it so much. This was just supposed to be a ceremony where you bring your partner and you say, okay, this is the person I'm marrying, guys. This is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. And you show this person to your family and to your friends. And that's it. People eat rice, they snap pictures, they drink malt, and they go home. When did weddings become concerts? When did weddings become live productions? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Please, let's get back to simple weddings. Let's get back to the simple, basic. We are too poor a country to be holding these huge standards for weddings. And I'm not talking about Temi Otedola and the celebrities. I'm talking about everyday regular people. So anyway, y'all, people didn't have much to say about the intercontinental wedding, but people had a lot to say about this intercontinental pregnancy. Temi Otedola revealed in a viral clip with her husband, Mr. Easy, that they have 9 doctors waiting scattered across the world for when she will go into labor. Now, you might have listened to that and thought, what? Yes, they have 9 doctors across different countries, across different continents, across the world, waiting for when Temi Otedola will go into labor so they can deliver Temi Otedola's baby. And I just want to say, as a healthcare sister, I do not believe in this. I am a firm proponent of birth preparedness. I'm a firm proponent of know when you are due to deliver, know where you're going to deliver, and plan according to that. Have a plan. It's important to have a plan. You can't be freestyling your delivery, guys. Know where you are going to deliver in and prepare for it. 9 doctors is insane. You shouldn't even be traveling that much in your 3rd trimester to begin with. But that's what Temi Otedola does, and if you like it, I love it. Unfortunately, social media is not as gracious as me. They lit her up in the comment section on X and Instagram, guys. People were hurling insults at her, insults I will not repeat on this podcast because we're classy here. We don't do that. But yeah, it's not a new trend. When Nigerian Twitter is suddenly faced with the abundance of wealth that their elites have, they begin to turn on them and cry classism. But do Nigerians actually even know what classism is? For the sake of this podcast episode, I put my researcher hat on and I decided to check out what exactly is classism. So Merriam-Webster defines classism as the belief that someone's social or economic station in society determines their value in that society. A second definition was the systematic oppression of the lower and middle class to the advantage, underline, of the upper class. Now, this oppression may be interpersonal, person to person, it may be institutional, systems to person, and it may even be internalized. Yes, classism can be internalized. You can be classist to your own self. When you make certain comments about what you deserve or don't deserve in life because of what's in your bank account, that happens, and that has been happening a lot. So based on this definition, anyone with ears would know Temi Otedola having 9 doctors scattered all over the world is not inherently classist. Those comments were at worst tone deaf. Her only crime, sincerely, is speaking publicly about the wealth, the privileges she enjoys in the face of so much lack and a serious maternal health crisis. It is true that Nigeria is one of the worst countries to give birth on earth. Nearly 1/3 of all maternal deaths globally occur in Nigeria, even though Nigeria only constitutes only 3% of the world's population. We have one of the highest maternal mortality ratios, and only 43% of births in Nigeria are attended to by a skilled health worker. Many people still seek out the services of a traditional birth attendant, and this decision may be influenced by cultural as well as economic factors. And you know what? I shit on the Nigerian government a lot, but I will say the Nigerian government has done its fair share in trying to combat the maternal mortality crisis. There have been several free initiatives, including the Free Emergency Obstetric Care Initiative. We also have MAMI, which was instituted by the National Primary Health Care Development Agency. A lot of things have been happening on that front to help combat it. But the problem is still there, which makes Temi Otedola's comments, flippant mention of the wealth of obstetric services that she has as her beck and call, it makes the ire kind of understandable. However, I do believe that the anti-elitism is displaced. It is displaced, it is misplaced, we need to rearrange it. Let me tell you what is happening right now, guys. The Nigerian Senate's Public Accounts Committee is currently investigating an alleged 210 trillion naira corruption case. I am not kidding. 210 trillion naira. They went into the books and they found some financial discrepancies, some audits unaccounted for in the accounts of the NNPC from 2017 to 2023. The former NNPC Group CEO Mele Kyari has failed to appear in front of the committee that is investigating him, shocker, saying he is currently receiving medical treatment abroad. Now that is a slap in the face. And the NNPC CFO, Amara, has denied that such accounts are missing, even though there's a wealth of evidence pointing to the contrary. Mele Kyari, like many other corrupt public officials in this country, has children. He has children that he has intentionally left out of the limelight. Children who reap the benefits of their father's corruption, who spend Nigerians' wealth on luxury trips and luxury bags and their expensive private schools abroad. But they're never lit up in comment sections. They're never discussed about and picked apart in the way socialites like Temi Ajibade, who have no business whatsoever with government, are. They're never hunted in the same way socialites or celebrities are, even though they are 100% culpable. Yes, I do believe those children are 100% responsible because it's their bank accounts and it's their tuition and it's their clothing that all these public funds are being spent on. And they are grown adults capable of saying, no, daddy, I won't give you my accounts to fraudulently divert public funds. It's not hard to do. But they never do it. So my sincere opinion is that this class consciousness that is happening now is just masking our cowardice. Temi Otedola is the child of a billionaire businessman. She is not the child of some corrupt public official who has diverted state or federal funds to fund his lavish lifestyle. We need to get a grip. You know what true class consciousness looks like to me? True class consciousness looks like all of us deciding enough is enough and intentionally seeking out, and I'm sure this may sound like a witch hunt, but sincerely, we need to seek out the wives, children, the relatives of these public officials, and we need to bring their stories to the fore. The way we have scandalized the lives of celebrities and wealthy people in these countries, we need to do that to public officials. We need to do that to politicians. There needs to be repercussions for the damage they have done, because tell me why the internet is more concerned with Temi Ajibade's 9 doctors scattered across the world when we have a 210 trillion naira corruption scandal. right in front of us. How much money that is? That's a lot of money, even for US standards. So yeah, we really need to get a grip. And that is my sincere opinion on this topic. But you can let me know yours on social media at Amara Next Door, #NextDoorPod. Let me know what you think about this problem that we're having, the class consciousness and the classism. Do you think it is warranted, the hate that Temi Otedola is receiving? Let me know your thoughts as always, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.